So JBL just put out two bangers of party boxes. First off, there's the JBL Partybox 520, which I feel is the perfect size. It gives you more than enough power where you never ask for more, but you never feel overwhelmed and feel like you just made a huge mistake. But then there's the JBL Partybox 720, which basically says, oh, you think the 520 is crazy? Then check this out. Now, the 720 can be a little overwhelming, but is still as versatile as the Partybox 520. Now, overall, I like and enjoy the JBL Partybox 720, but I do wish that it had a few more features from the JBL Partybox Ultimate. So today we're going to compare the JBL Partybox 720 to the JBL Partybox Ultimate, and let's see which one's right for you. Is it even worth upgrading to the Ultimate? We're going to pricing. The JBL Partybox 720 has a retail price of $1,100, which is a lot. But trust me, you never wonder what if you had a larger speaker or if you had a second speaker, because it can definitely be a little overwhelming at times. But then there's the JBL Partybox Ultimate, which currently has a retail price of $1,900, and this speaker can be overkill. Nonetheless, if you want to pick either of these two speakers up, they'll be linked down below, or you can always press on the YouTube shopping button. And if you want to further support the channel, then you can always watch some of the related videos in the description down below. So first, we need to talk about the design and portability of these speakers, and most importantly, that's the built-in batteries. The JBL Partybox Ultimate does not have a built-in battery. You can only use this speaker while it's plugged in, obviously affecting the portability of this speaker. Whereas with the JBL Partybox 720, this speaker does have a built-in battery. It's actually using two. Now, the 720 has an advertised battery life of 15 hours, which is very impressive. However, that's with the speaker playing at 40% volume and with the light feature turned off and with the bass boost feature turned off as well. But regardless, 40% volume is a very good listening volume on both of these speakers. But with the 720, battery life on this speaker really varies depending on how you use it. If you were to use it at a higher volume, or if you were to use it with the light feature turned on, or with the bass boost feature turned on, then all of that is going to affect your battery life. But real-world use, this speaker playing at 60% volume and with the light feature turned on and with the bass boost feature turned on, for me, the speaker's been good for around 8 hours of playback time. And honestly, anything above 60% volume on either of these two speakers while indoors, that is going to require hearing protection. And anything above 80% volume, you are going to be a nuisance to your neighbors, which might be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on your relationship with them. And at max volume, that's just begging for a visit from the cops. But the really cool thing about the Partybox 720 is, just like the 520, 320, and 120, you can quickly and easily swap out the battery on the speaker. So if you want, you can get multiple batteries and keep the party going, or if you ever get to a point where your battery can no longer hold a charge, instead of having to buy a completely new speaker, all you need to do is just buy a new battery, which is going to be good for the overall life of your investment. However, the JBL Partybox 720 is actually using dual 600 batteries. So you can actually mix and match batteries between the JBL Partybox 720, 520, and the Boombox 4, because all three of these speakers are using the same battery. The only difference is the 720 is using two batteries, whereas the 520 and the Boombox 4 are just using one battery. And to charge the speaker up, it charges via a double barrel AC port, just like the Ultimate and just like JBL's other party boxes. And if you were to use this speaker while it's plugged in, you are going to get a performance boost out of it. It's going to get louder and it's going to have more bass. And honestly, while it's plugged in, the JBL Partybox 720 gets almost as loud as the Partybox Ultimate. So thanks to the Partybox 720's built-in battery, this speaker is a lot more portable than the Partybox Ultimate. Also, the 720 is noticeably smaller than the Ultimate. It weighs in at 69 pounds. Nice. Plus, it also has built-in wheels, so you can easily roll this speaker around. And thankfully, these wheels are super chunky, so you can still easily roll this speaker around in, let's say, a parking lot, or on the sidewalk, or on the grass, or even a thick carpet. Now, the Ultimate also has built-in wheels, so you can also roll it around like the 720. However, this speaker weighs in at 87 pounds. And if you're going to load either of these two speakers into your car, or if you're going to carry them up and down stairs, then you are going to need help if you don't want to damage the car or the walls in your house or the speaker itself. But durability on on both of these speakers is the same. Both of these speakers have a mostly plastic body, which can get scratched rather easily. They both have a thin middle grille on the front, which can get dented easily as well. And both of these speakers are rocking an IPX4 rating. So they are water resistant, so some water isn't going to be a problem, but you do want to make sure to keep the port panel on the back covered. But then there's the light feature on these speakers. Now, both of these speakers have really good looking light features on them, but they are a little different. The light feature on the Ultimate is a little more impressive because the light rings do have a 3D effect to them, and the Ultimate also has floor lights, which I really like because it really just gives this speaker a larger presence. But nonetheless, with both of these speakers, you can go into JBL's app and you can choose from a few different lighting modes, and you can also customize these light features as well. But overall, I think both of these speakers look good, but I do wish the 720 at least had those floor lights like the Ultimate. But also, since both of these speakers are using Auracast, you can also connect them up to any of JBL's party lights, and you can extend your light feature if you want. But just keep in mind, if you do decide to use the light feature on the 720, that is going to affect your overall battery life. But then there are the ports on these speakers. Now, the port panel on both of these speakers are illuminated, which I do feel is a very nice touch, but more importantly, the Partybox 720 is now using XLR combo jacks, whereas the Ultimate just has your standard 3/4 inch inputs. So with the Partybox 720, you can plug it into a mixer if you want, which is great for people who might want to moonlight as a DJ. Now, don't get me wrong, with the Ultimate, we have been able to use it with a mixer, but you're either going to have to use a Bluetooth connection or you're going to have to use a standard audio jack connection, so you might have some technical difficulties, whereas having a physical connection through that XLR input is just bulletproof. But more importantly, with both of these speakers, you can plug in 2 microphones for karaoke, or you can plug in a guitar. But I feel karaoke is more important. And with both of these speakers, you can adjust the sound of your microphone directly from the speaker itself. You can adjust the bass, or you can adjust the treble, or you can go ahead and you can add an echo if you want. And like I said, you can actually adjust the sound of your microphone directly from the speaker itself, because if you were to get the Partybox 120 or Encore 2, you are going to have to open up the app to adjust the sound of your microphone. Now, with both of these speakers, like I just said, you can plug in 2 wired mics if you want, or you can also plug in JBL's Partybox mics, and you can get 2 wireless mics going. Now, I realize that JBL's Partybox mics are a lot more expensive than your more standard ones. However, these microphones do sound better. These microphones also do a much better job of just focusing on your voice, and these microphones also do a much better job of not picking up any noise pollution when you're actually handling these microphones. However, I do prefer the 720 over the Ultimate here because it has a USB-C port, and you can use this USB-C port to either charge your phone, or you can also use this USB-C port to charge your microphones, and you can also use this USB-C port as a wired connection with your phone if you want. Whereas with the Partybox Ultimate, this speaker has a USB-A port, so charging your phone isn't as convenient as with the 720. But with both of these speakers, you can still use them with a wired connection because they both have an audio jack, but more importantly, both of these speakers do have an audio out jack, so you can always daisy chain them up to any other speaker, regardless of size or brand, and get them to play in sync. And finally, when it comes to Bluetooth connectivity, both of these speakers can be connected to 2 devices at the same time, so you and a friend can both be DJ. Latency is not an issue for either of these 2 speakers, so you can use them to watch videos with on your phone. And when it comes to audio codecs, both of these speakers have support for SPC and AAC. However, the Ultimate also has Wi-Fi support, so you can stream music to it using AirPlay 2, or you can also get it to play in sync with any of your other smart speakers that are also using Wi-Fi around the house. But personally, I don't care for Wi-Fi on any of my party boxes. But wait, if you're actually going to charge all of this stuff, then check out our partners over at Anker. They've got a ton of battery banks and chargers. And personally, I've been using this new 7-in-1 charging station from Anker. Now, personally, I really like this charging base because it has 2 built-in USB-C cables which retract, and you can use them to either charge small devices like your earbuds, or you can even use them to charge your larger devices like your iPad iPad or MacBook. There's an additional USB-C port, so you can plug in an additional cable. And there's also a USB-A port if you've got any older devices that are using a USB-A cable. Plus on the back, you've got an additional three-prong AC ports, so you can plug in any of your other devices. And this base also has a built-in screen, so you can see how much power it's putting out. You can also see how much power each device is taking, and you can even get temp readouts just to be safe. Honestly, this charging base does save me a lot of clutter here in the studio because I have a lot of devices that just constantly need to be charged. So if you want to pick this charging base up, it'll be linked down below, or you can always press on the YouTube shopping button. And I'm also going to keep a coupon code in the pinned comment down below so that I can get you an extra discount. But with all that out of the way, let's talk about sound. Regarding speaker setup, the JBL Partybox 720 has dual front-firing woofers with an exhaust port that shoots out the back and dual front-firing tweeters. Whereas with the Partybox Ultimate, this speaker also has dual front-firing woofers with an exhaust port that shoots out the back, and it has dual front-firing tweeters just like the 720. But what makes the Ultimate stand out here is that it also has dual mid-range drivers to give you better definition in the mids. And like I have said in previous videos already, I really wish the JBL Partybox 720 had these mid-range drivers so that it could give you a bigger reason to upgrade from, let's say, the JBL Partybox 520 or 320, because it could have better quality sound instead of just getting louder and having more bass. And with both of these speakers, you can also go into their apps and you can adjust their EQ to your liking, and you also have their bass boost button. Now, personally, I do prefer deep because you get more kick in your bass, whereas with punchy, you get more of a resonance, which I feel muddles the rest of your music. But now we're just going to go ahead and jump into the sound test. Both of these speakers are playing at 75% volume with their bass boost set to deep, but we're going to be using the 720 while it's unplugged and plugged in.
Getting real ecstatic, we both know it right away. When I see you dancing, I know you're a 10. It's some kind of magic, we both know it right away. I can hear the party, don't want it to end. Getting real ecstatic. I feel this vibe goes from my heart right to my fingertips. My fingertips, oh I need you to tell me now how much you're into me. Oh right away. I feel this vibe goes from my heart right to my fingertips.
So when it comes to sound, the JBL Partybox Ultimate has slightly better definition in the mids and highs than the Partybox 720 thanks to those additional mid-range drivers. With the Ultimate, your music is going to sound a little more open, but regardless, the Partybox 720 still sounds very good because it still has good definition in the mids and it still sounds fairly open. Just not as open as the Ultimate. But like I've said multiple times already, I really wish the 720 had those mid-range drivers because for starters, it has the room for them, but also it would give you a bigger reason to upgrade from the 320 or 520 to the 720. However, maybe JBL just doesn't want to add the mid-range drivers to the 720 because it would give you less of a reason to upgrade to the Ultimate. Because when it comes to max volume performance, I feel that both of these speakers are going to have no problem with a 50% party, and they're good for commercial use. Think a medium-sized restaurant, a small DJ gig, or some type of event. Now, when the Partybox 720 is running off of its internal battery, it gets very loud. However, if you were to use this speaker while it's plugged in, you are going to get a significant performance boost out of it. It is going to get louder and it is going to have a lot more bass. And when the Partybox 720 is plugged in, it gets almost as loud as the Ultimate, which is overwhelming. So since while it's plugged in, the JBL Partybox 720 gets almost as loud and has almost as much bass as the Ultimate, why bother getting the Ultimate unless you really want those additional mid-range drivers? But finally, let's talk about pairing these speakers up with other speakers. Now, first off, if you have two of the exact same speakers, then you can wirelessly pair them up and get them to play in left and right stereo mode, so your music is going to sound more open and it is going to get louder, but you need to have two of the exact same speakers. But since both of these speakers are using Auracast, you can pair them up to other speakers that are also using Auracast, like let's say a JBL Partybox Encore 2, or a Partybox 120, 320, 520, 720, or Ultimate, and you can get them to all play in sync. But also, you can pair up your Partybox 720 or Ultimate up to any of JBL's smaller speakers that are also using Auracast, like let's say a Charge 6 or an Extreme 4, or a Flip 7, or a Clip 5, or a Go 4, or to the new Grip, or to the JBL Boombox 4. But also, you can pair up your JBL Partybox 720 or Ultimate up to any of JBL's older Partyboxes that are using TWS, like either an original Partybox Encore or to a 110, 310, or 710. However, you can only have a total of two speakers wirelessly paired to one another. And another thing is, let's say you have your 720 paired up to any other speaker, and you have a mic plugged into your 720. Then your mic audio is only going to come out of the Partybox 720. Unfortunately, the microphone audio isn't synced up across all of the other speakers. And like I mentioned earlier, the Partybox 720 and Ultimate both have audio out jacks, so you can always daisy chain them out to any other speaker, regardless of size or brand, and you can get them to play in sync. And since these speakers are using Auracast, you'll also be able to pair them up with non-JBL speakers that are also using Auracast. Just keep in mind that you can't pair any of these Auracast speakers up to any of JBL's older speakers that are using Party Boost, like let's say either a JBL Boombox 3, a Boombox 2, an Extreme 3, a Charge 5, a Pulse 5, a Pulse 4, a Flip 5, or to a Flip 6. But like I mentioned earlier, the Partybox Ultimate is the only Partybox that has a Wi-Fi, so if you want, you can get it to play in sync with any of your other smart speakers around the house that are also using Wi-Fi, but like I said, I really don't care for Wi-Fi on my Partybox. But with all that being said, both the JBL Partybox 720 and JBL Partybox Ultimate are great box speakers to consider, but they do have their key differences. Both of these speakers are great for large crowds and are both good options for commercial use. But the Ultimate is going to get louder and it is going to have more bass. But also, the Ultimate does sound a little more open thanks to its additional mid-range drivers. Now, even though I really wish the 720 also had those mid-range drivers, for me, it's very hard to justify the Ultimate over the 720. With the JBL Partybox 720, it gets almost as loud as the Ultimate when it's plugged in. But more importantly, it does have a built-in battery, so it's a lot more portable and versatile than the Ultimate. It's also a little smaller and it's a little lighter, but still transporting the 720 is just as difficult as the Ultimate. But more importantly, the 720 has a much more robust port panel than the Ultimate, so you can more easily connect it to a mixer if you want. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit the like button and get subscribed. If you want to pick any of the products up, they'll be linked down below. And if you want to further support the channel, check out the merch. I made some shirts and hoodies that look and feel great. And you know I can be very particular, so I'll only slap my name on something if I'm really proud of it.